Jiri Prochazka talks about his mindset in approaching his fight with Jamal Hill this Saturday, one of the most exciting light heavyweights in the division with such a fan-friendly style that guarantees a dynamic clash with anybody every time he enters the octagon, will now get his opportunity to sort of overwrite his last performance and remind the public that he's still a dangerous force and someone who represents a real threat to the champion. One thing Jiri and Jamal have in common is that they have both lost to Alex Pereira via knockout. So in a way, they will be fighting for a chance to try to get revenge over the Brazilian. Jiri has lost to Alex twice, but still maintains that he has the key to beat him, and that after the 2 unsuccessful attempts, he has made significant changes to his style, which he can't wait to demonstrate to us this weekend. On media day, the Czech contender spoke about his approach to the clash with Hill, and had an interesting exchange with a reporter, who asked who's the second best in the division after Pereira.
I'm looking for mistakes from the fight, yeah? And the last time I had to accept that my hands down was a little bit too much. So I worked on all these things to be more effective. I don't want to say like, this is right now I made a change and all these things, and no, just watch me.
In this division, do you look at the skill set and think, okay, it's Alex, then Jamal, or do you think there are other guys that could maybe give you more problems?
What you asking for? Like Jamal, what?
Do you believe Jamal Hill is the second best person in this division? Do you think he's the best man you could be fighting right now?
No.
Who do you think it is?
Me.
John Anik and Anik Florian talk about Merab's psychological state before his title fight with Umar, speculating whether his anger and frustration towards the contender and just the fact that he had to accept the fight not on his terms will be a driving force or an obstacle for an optimal performance. As we know, the main reason Dvalishvili wasn't keen on taking the fight with Umar is his perspective that the only reason Khabib's cousin was being given this chance is his last name and ties to Khabib. Considering what Merab had to go through to get a title shot and all the names on his record, it's not surprising he felt that way. But what created this tension into the beef that we got here is, as Merab thinks, Umar's disrespectful comments. This is relevant because we've never seen Merab act so emotional in the lead up to a fight before, and whether this will serve him as additional fuel or be detrimental in the end, we've yet to see. Anik and Florian discuss Merab's attitude for his first title defense.
I'm leaning towards Nurmagomedov to get the win. What I do with my money might be a different thing. I do see value here with Dvalishvili at plus 260, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
I wonder if I have made entirely too much of this relatively quick turn for Merab, and I know a lot of people scoff when I say that, but just trust, when you become the world champion, if you just think about the 3 weeks thereafter and all the noise and all the adrenaline and all the travel and all the energy, and what has he had, 18 weeks total? Well, you lose 3 of them there. So I know the guy lives in the gym. Go ahead, Kenny.
And I've never seen him this fired up either. Is it Nurmagomedov himself that's getting him fired up, or is it the circumstances around what you're just talking about that is getting him fired up? That will wear on you, or can wear on you.
Mm-hmm. And Umar, as I sort of highlighted, is just leads the league, I feel like, in wisdom and maturity, belying his years,
Dana White looks worried for Islam Makhachev after seeing him for the first time in person before UFC 311. Islam is one of the biggest lightweights in the division and cuts large amounts of weight to get down to 155 pounds. Weight cutting problems have been a notoriously frequent thing for Team Khabib for a long time, and we've seen multiple pullouts due to complications with cutting weight. There are also many videos which depict Makhachev struggling to make weight, pushing his body dangerously close to the limit. With age, the process of shedding that amount of weight becomes even more difficult, which is one of the reasons Makhachev has been contemplating moving up to welterweight soon, with the only problem being the fact that the current champion in that weight class is Belal Muhammad, who is close to his team, and nothing else than a title fight would make sense to Islam if he decides to move up, so he had to temporarily forget about that. But the weight cutting thing is serious and can be the most troublesome part of a fight week for certain fighters, especially from Khabib's camp, as they're known for cutting maximum amounts of weight to have a size advantage over others in the division. This time, it looks like Islam came in a bit heavier than usual, so close to the fight itself. When Dana White saw him in person for the first time in a while, His first reaction was to point out that Makhachev looks, quote, fucking big. The Russian media space immediately began writing articles about Islam possibly even not being able to make 155 and step into the cage with Arman Tsarukyan. Dana did look surprised to see how big Islam looks though, but whether this will become a real problem by the day of weigh-ins, we've yet to see.
How you feeling?
The bantamweight title challenger feels very confident before his fight with the cardio machine. Umar says he doesn't pay much attention to all the talk about the conflict between Merab and himself, doesn't care what Dvalishvili thinks about him, and is confident that he will come out of the cage victorious. In a conversation with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo on their podcast, Umar gave his assessment of the champion's skills and compared them to his own. Nurmagomedov even revealed his strategy as it relates to octagon control, sharing some insight on his approach to negate the champ's crushing pressure. Umar says he will take the center and start pushing Merab back from the beginning of the bout, because that way, Dvalishvili will be the one walking back the whole time, which takes away from his ability to constantly shoot for takedowns and drown opponents in fatigue, as he says. According to Umar, the only weapon Merab has is his conditioning and pace. And when it comes to technical ability, the challenger doesn't think he'll have any problems on Saturday.
His wrestling, his punches, I will not wait to him. I will attack. You know, when you attack him, he going back. And when you going back, it's very hard to take down. He taking down, so okay, I'm gonna accept 1-1-6-2. He beginning to win fights when opponents tired. You know? When they good, when they in shape to beginning, I don't see how he beat someone in first round. Always with condition he taking fights, you know, and I have good condition, I have good shape. I'm on my best shape for this fight, you know. In all my life I was preparing to fight 311 UFC, you know. I'm ready. I hope guys you will invite me to your podcast after. I will stay in front of camera with belt.
Ah, there you go. There you have it, Kush. He's coming back on. So we're gonna be the first interview. Hold on, Kush. We're gonna be his first interview when he wins a title. What do you think? All right, there you go. You said it.
Done.
Yeah. So Umar, I love it.